Hi year 10s, hope you're doing well. So I had quite a few people this week just saying that you're struggling with completing the square, which is absolutely understandable. It's not the ideal week for me not to be able to do a live lesson because it is quite a difficult topic. So you're not alone if you're struggling with it. Hopefully those videos on either Hegarty or Corbett have given a little bit of help, but I'll just run through sort of the method that I use, which just helps me. It was definitely a topic I found difficult at school, and I've kind of really had to. I remember sort of for my GCSEs really having to kind of think about it quite hard and really break it down into a process. So hopefully this video will help some of that. So the reason just before half term, I went through kind of perfect squares. There was a reason for that because we're going to be using perfect squares today. Okay, so for the perfect squares, you can see all of these will be perfect squares. They come out as x plus 4 squared, x plus 1 squared, etc, etc. So what you've done, you've effectively taken the middle, you've halved it. So the middle number, the x coefficient, you've halved that. So 8x becomes 4, 2x becomes 1, 6x becomes 3. Minus 8x becomes minus 4, minus 2x becomes 1, and then obviously that number squared gives you this number here. So it's really important just to understand that relationship. We have this number here halved, which makes the x plus this number halved, and then it's this number squared, which leaves this number here. Okay, so effectively, remember, we're looking for two numbers that add up to get these, but multiplied together to get this. So in this case, it's this number halved because that number added up makes these numbers, squared makes this number here. So just really important we sort of go back and reflect on our perfect squares because we're going to be using those. So this step is really key. So I've got here x squared plus 8x. So what this could be written as, x plus 4 squared minus 16. So let's have a look at this. X plus 4 squared, if I just here, x plus 4 squared is going to leave me with x squared plus 8x plus 16. Okay, so x plus 4 squared gives me x squared plus 8x plus 16. However, if I've got x squared plus 8x, I don't have this 16 here. So what I can say is that x plus 4 squared minus 16 is the same as saying x squared plus 8x plus 16 minus 16, which then comes out as x squared plus 8x. So that minus 16 is basically cancelling out this 16, which we got from the x plus 4 squared. And that leaves us just with the x squared plus 8x. Now this is key. This is key to when we're actually looking at our completing the square. Okay. So what I suggest is you just pause this video and have a go at writing out some of these. So for example, okay, have a look at these ones. So I've got x squared plus 10x, x squared minus 2x, x squared minus 4x, and write these out in the form of, for example, x plus 4 squared minus 16. So what you're going to do for this one, x squared plus 10x, you're going to half this, and so therefore it's going to be x plus 5 squared. You're going to work out what x plus 5 squared would give you. It would give you x squared plus 10x plus something. But because we don't have that, just sort of the number coefficient at the end here, we're going to take that away, so we're left with just x squared plus 10x. So I'm just going to do that one together actually. If I have x squared plus 10x, I'm going to write x plus 5 squared. Now I know that x plus 5 squared would give me x squared plus 10x plus 25, because 5 squared is 25. Therefore, to get it to x squared plus 10x, I'm going to have x plus 5 squared, which gives me this, but then I'm going to take away that 25. So I'm going to be taking away 25 to leave me with just the x squared plus 10x. So that bit's key. Okay, so I suggest you just pause, give those a go. Okay, there are the answers now. So effectively we've halved this each time, and then whatever it is that you would get, so minus 2x squared would be minus 1, that would be positive 1 you'd get, therefore that would be minus, you'd be taking away 1, minus 4 you'd have minus 2, so therefore that would be plus 4 when you multiply it out, so we take away 4 to leave it just as minus 4x. I think that one should be a minus in there as well. Okay, so if we now look at a couple of examples here, so using what we've just done, what we're going to do, we're going to work out these. So if I have x squared plus 8x plus 1, x squared plus 8x plus 1, what I'm going to do, I'm going to break this down into two sections. So I've got this section which looks like just what we're doing, and then I have this section here which is the plus 1. Okay. So x squared plus 8x, I can rewrite that, if I remember, as x plus 4 squared, so I've halved that. Now x plus 4 squared, that will give me plus 16, but I don't have a plus 16 here, so I'm going to take away 16. So that's the step that I've just done. Now I've got a plus 1 here, which I'm going to bring back in. So that was this part, and then I've got this plus 1, which has stayed the same. Now I can see I've got x plus 4 squared, take away 16, add 1. Therefore that's going to become x plus 4 squared minus 15. So all I've done there, exactly the same process. So master this process first. Then when we have another number here, we're just going to either add or take that away at the end. So we've got x plus 4 squared minus 16 plus 1. You can combine these terms, x plus 4 squared minus 15. Okay, so it's that step, understanding how we get from this to x plus 4 squared, take away 16. That's the key step, and then you are left with two terms here, which are just numbers, so you can combine those. Okay, let's give that another go. So x squared minus 10x plus 4. So let's call that this part. So I've broken it up into x squared minus 10x, and then I've got a plus 4. So if I have x squared minus 10x, I've got x minus 5 squared. So I've halved that to a minus 5. Now, if I expanded this out, I'd get x squared minus 10x minus 5 squared would be 20 plus 25. So I've got x minus 5 squared plus 25. But because I don't have the 25 here, I don't have the 25 in here, I need to then take that 25 away to get it to just x squared minus 10x. So that's x minus 5 squared minus 25. I'm then going to bring in this section, which is plus 4. So I'm just carrying this bit down as well. So x minus 5 squared minus 25 plus 4. So that goes to x minus 5 squared minus 25 plus 4 is minus 21. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go back a step. Just to make sure, because we're mastering that part. So if I had, for example, x squared plus 22, x squared plus 22x. So another way I could write this is I could make this into a perfect square. So I can do x plus 11 squared. So I've done x squared plus 22x. So I've halved this number here, because when I expand this out, I'll have x times x is x squared plus 11x to make 22x, and then I'll have plus 21. So let's expand this out. I'd get x squared plus 22x plus 121. So that this becomes x squared plus 22x plus 121. But I don't actually want this 121, do I? Because if I've got x squared plus 22x, I don't want this 121. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of that 121. I'm going to get rid of that 121 by doing x plus 11 squared take away 121. Now let's expand that out. I then get x squared plus 22x plus 121 take away 121, which leaves me with x squared plus 22x. So that's why I'm taking away this number next to this bracket, because effectively if I multiply this out, I get this 121, but I didn't want that 121 because there's nothing here. So I'm getting that back to plus 121, take away 121 to get that back to 0. So I'm just left with x squared plus 22x. Okay, hoping that helps. I'm really hoping that helps. This step is key to understand so that you can go and do the more complicated ones. Okay, now there was one question which Archie messaged on the group, which I think, Finn, you put a really good answer for that, but I just want to go through that and have this as an example here. All right. Excuse me. So I have written out this one just already so that we can go through it. So at this step I have x squared plus 11x plus 1. Now because this is an even number, sorry, not an even number, that's an odd number, I'm going to be dividing that by 2 and I'll be left with a fraction. Okay, I'm just going to leave that as a fraction. So I'll have x squared plus 11x plus 1. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to half this to get x plus 11 over 2 squared. Exactly the same as if this was an even number, I've just halved it and put it in there. The next thing I do is I work out, if I expanded these brackets, what would I get? If I expand these brackets, I would be getting, well, x plus 11, x squared plus 11x, plus 121 over 4, because I would be squaring this. But I don't want that. When I'm kind of working out this section, I don't want that 121 over 4, therefore I take it away. I'm going to take away that 121 over 4. Then I'm going to add in this section of plus 1 on the end, so I'm going to write here plus 1, because all I've done, I've converted x squared plus 11x into x plus 11 over 2 squared minus 121 over 4. So you can see this section here is broken up just as taken down and converted into this, and then I've got the plus 1 at the end. All I've done in this stage, because it's fractions, I've converted this plus 1 into plus 4 over 4, and I'm just going to add those fractions together. I've got x plus 11 over 2 squared, and then because I've added 4 quarters to minus 121 over 4, adding 4 on there, and I get 117 over 4. So Archie, I know you were asking kind of how do we get that answer. I think the key part to that is just getting the aspect here where we have minus 121 over 4. So if we think about it, when we expand out a bracket, if this is a minus or a plus, we're going to get a positive number, aren't we? If we have this is a minus or a plus, we're going to get a positive number. Because it's the same bracket, so it's either 2 pluses or 2 minuses, when we square them, that's going to be a positive number. So we're going to have a positive number when we expand those brackets, and then to get rid of that number, we're going to be taking away. So this step should always look like a bracket squared minus a number. Okay, just something to remember, that will always be taking away a number, and then you'll apply this last number here. Okay. All right, I hope that helps. If you have any questions or just want me to clarify any of that, please do let me know. Like I say, this isn't the easiest topic in the world. It is quite sort of complicated, and frustratingly, having to, you know, teach it via video isn't what I'd want to do. But I trust that hopefully with all these resources and with that video, if you just go through it really slowly, you should be able to grasp that. Okay, so give it a go and let me know how you get on. All right. Hope everyone's doing well, and I hope to see you back in school soon. All right, cheers, bye.